Young Drunk.
Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, folks, we are continuing our look at those rumbling, two-fisted movies from the 70s we like to call Action August.
That's right. We're introducing people to our friends Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary.
That's right. And they got busy in 1972, where the mission will be parked for the next 3 weeks as we bring you reviews of some action-packed films from the days of quote-unquote blaxploitation, starting with Fred the Hammer Williamson, Vonetta McGee in Hammer. From 1972. Vincent's selection for this stop on the Micheaux Mission as we are streaming live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace, to all social media points. That means Instagram, that means X, that means Facebook, and of course, YouTube, where each and every one of you are delighting us with your huzzas from the chat. Hello, missionary.
Good evening, one and all.
And look, Vincent, along with Robert Monroe and Aaron Fry and all of our regular contributors in the chat, we are hearing from the UK.
All right.
Hey there, Mr. Carpenter.
Good to
Welcome.
see you. Good to see you.
All right. How are you doing, Vincent?
I am fine. These waning days of summer.
I know, man, but we got to get the last minute trips in and stuff like that. And, this is maybe the first summer that I did not fire up my grill at all.
Really?
Nope, I didn't turn on my grill.
Any particular reason?
I think it's mostly because, no, I don't. I guess for a minute it was like crazy hot.
I was about to say, I know we caught that heat wave. You just couldn't go outside.
Could not go outside.
Right.
But I guess opportunities come up. I did more than a few weekend trips and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I just didn't get the opportunity to.
Yeah, and you look up and the summer's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But you're not a huge grill guy.
I mean, enough. I enjoy the grill.
Did you turn it on this summer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's not so bad.
I do like stuff cooked over fire.
Okay. So, do you do just the typical burgers and dogs, or you?
No. I do chicken. I've done fish, vegetables.
Okay.
Every now and a couple of times I've felt a little spicy. Did like a short rib.
Of course.
Yeah. So
all right. You got a gas or?
I have both.
Oh, la-di-da.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I have both.
Yes, I have a gas grill. You want to do something real fast. But then, I feel like actual grilling
Is the charcoal. Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I only have charcoal.
Look, if you have to have one.
Yes.
I've
actually never had a gas grill.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into our show.
Okay.
We've got a mean show for you tonight.
Look. Action-packed. It's August.
It is. And that means we're going to start with your emails, or as we like to call them,
missives from the missionaries.
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh. Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the missionaries, emails from the missionaries. And Vincent, we have one from Ron Covington.
Hey, Ron.
Dear Vincent Len, I too am a big admirer of Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yes.
I first saw him in Amistad as the translator and then Dirty Pretty Things, and I was impressed. You guys should check out the British miniseries The Shadow Line, where Chewie is a cop recovering from being shot in the head and has to remember if he's crooked or not. Very suspenseful. Oh, that sounds really...
That does sound good.
That sounds very interesting.
Thank you, Ron.
I'll have to see if that is on BritBox.
That's your jam, BritBox.
You know, I have... You know what?
That's your jam, BritBox.
It has. It has. Because I
have a gas grill, but you have BritBox.
I have BritBox.
See, there you go.
I have BritBox.
It's a very sophisticated room.
All right, Ryan continues. Anyway, I don't know if you guys have seen Half a Yellow Sun or not. I've been looking for it for years and finally found it. Thandie Newton and Anika Noni Rose play wealthy Nigerian sisters during Nigeria's fight for independence and subsequent civil unrest in the early 1960s. Early in the film, the ladies are sitting at a dinner table across from their parents, and the man who plays their father is a dead ringer for Vincent.
Ooh.
I had to rewatch the scene to make sure my eyes weren't deceiving me.
Wouldn't that be funny? If like I've been keeping that from you this whole time.
Are you?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
So if you haven't seen the movie, watch at least the first 15 minutes. I'm curious to what your reaction is to that moment. That is very interesting.
Okay.
It's based on a famous novel and features a very effective, understated turn from John Boyega.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a great cast.
That sounds like a great cast. And if you are a fan of John Boyega, I invite you, missionaries, to join us here in Philadelphia on Wednesday, October 23rd, when the Micheaux Mission and the Be Real Black Cinema Club will be continuing the Be Real Micheaux screening series at Bryn Mawr Film Institute with 2011's Attack the Block.
Yeah.
A sci-fi / horror classic. One night only, on the big screen, starring John Boyega.
Yes, sir.
Coming your way. Tickets on sale right now at brynmarfilm.org.
It's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ron Covington continues. In one of your episodes, you were discussing what makes a leading man as opposed to a character actor.
Okay.
Where do you think Chiwetel Ejiofor falls in that regard? He's done strong leading man work in Red Belt and Sunday Morning, but also strong supporting work in The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, which he also directed, as well as Children of Men and Inside Man, just to name a few. Keep the conversation going. I love it. Ron Covington.
Yeah, what do you think? Chiwetel Ejiofor, leading man, character actor.
I think that he is, believe it or not, I think he's akin to Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt definitely has the leading man features and stuff of it. But when you really think about it, he's not the lead in a whole lot of movies.
Okay.
He himself has said he would prefer to see himself as much more of a character actor.
Sure.
And which is why he slips very well into ensembles or films that have maybe, other name stars with him.
Sure.
And I think Chiwetel Ejiofor kind of like falls in line there.
I think Brad Pitt, I would put him more in the Denzel Washington school.
Oh, I did.
Where I think, much like you, I think Brad Pitt is a really good actor. But I do think that for all of the films that you think about where he's not, quote unquote, the lead, you can't take your eyes off of him.
Yeah, but
like, in fact, a lot of the times when he's playing not the lead, he's actually playing the good-looking guy.
Okay, that's
which
fair.
Which is kind of a cheat.
Yeah, but to compare him to Denzel Washington, who is almost always the lead.
No, but the times when you think about where he doesn't play the lead, and I'm thinking about something like
when does Denzel not play the lead?
Well, I'm thinking about something like was that not Merchants of Venice?
Okay, that one.
What's the Shakespeare?
The one Shakespeare one,
right?
I mean, it was oh God, which one was it? It was because it was the one that
that Keanu Reeves is in.
And I think Guy Ritchie did it. Not Guy Ritchie.
Anyway, right. There aren't as many examples at all with Denzel Washington because, like you said, Denzel Washington has, he's the lead.
Yeah,
usually. But even this, you know what? I want to revisit this in about 6 months because I suspect this is what's going to happen with this new Gladiator movie. Well, where they've cut the trailer to make it seem like he's the star, but the buzz is he's not really in it, but so much.
I don't think. See, I disagree. I don't think I believe that he's not in it, but so much. I don't think the trailer is cut to show that to make it seem like he's the star. I think the trailer is cut to let you know definitively that he is in it. But I think there's enough of the guy who is the gladiator to that, but he's a bit of an unknown.
I guess my character actor thing, when I think about character actors, they disappear. And I don't think Brad Pitt ever disappears.
Despite he tries.
Right. And again, I actually think he's a great actor.
But I think that's what puts him with Chiwetel.
Well,
because I don't think Chiwetel disappears.
I think he can disappear. I think you think about him in Children of Men. You think about him in Inside Man. You think about him in something like what was the space movie? Serenity. I do think, or like Four Brothers, where it's like,
I forgot he was in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly my point.
I forgot
There's not one movie that Brad Pitt has ever been in that you forgot he was in it.
Yeah, I forgot.
As opposed to what I think is a better comparison, someone like Samuel L. Jackson, who he's always in stuff. And you're like, oh, I forgot he was even in this.
Yeah, and he more often than not is not the lead.
Right. But because, Samuel L. Jackson, he's kind of been pushed to the fore. But
thank you, Lisa Alexander. The Denzel Washington movie was Much Ado About Nothing. Directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Which, like we said, I think this is a film where he very much is part of this ensemble. But, my God, you can't take your eyes off of Denzel Washington. Like, he can stand over there in the corner all he wants. But, so.
Very good. All right, thank you for that email, Ryan. That was a good one. All right, we got another email, Vincent. This is from Corey Nicole.
Hey, what's up, Corey?
Good evening, Lennon, Vincent, and missionaries. I hope you both had a great week.
Oh, we did.
As terrible as Belly is,
we going to Africa.
There are some lines that are one of the best in black cinema history. Africa is far.
That screenplay is terrible, but it's also amazing.
Hey, T, let's go to Africa.
Africa.
We have been everywhere, like the islands.
That's what Lynn, you need to stop reading the letter. I'm about to shut down the episode. We're going to go get some wings and watch Belly. Because that's exactly what he said. He said, we've been everywhere. And then he said, we went to the islands. And then he stopped talking. According to him, they hadn't been to New Jersey.
Oh, God. Corey continues. Those lines are priceless.
Yes, they are.
How can someone not like or enjoy them? But all in all, poor Nas. We never got to see him and T go to Africa because I guess Hype Williams didn't have enough money to shoot at said location. Out of nowhere the other day.
And then Benjamin Chaffetz is like faux Farrakhan. He's not Farrakhan. and DMX has a change of heart. Oh, Belly is fantastic.
All right. Out of nowhere the other day, I thought about the career trajectories of both Sidney Poitier and Eddie Murphy. And it sounds left field comparing an actual actor and a comedian, but hear me out. Both Poitier and Murphy started their careers as being one, if not the only black person in predominantly white films. I would argue that both of these men faced criticism as not being black enough or reaching the African-American audience, thus leading both men doing projects that catered to a black audience, like for Sidney Poitier, Uptown Saturday Night, Let's Do It Again, and A Piece of Action, and for Eddie, his trifecta of Coming to America, Harlem Nights, and Boomerang, even adding Life with him and Martin Lawrence. It was a random thought that came to mind the other day. Cannot wait to listen to this episode. Love always, Corey. That's a good...
I see the parallel.
Yeah.
I do think appropriately enough tonight as we are going to be knee deep in blaxploitation. I do get the sense that old black Hollywood had to sort of catch up to these new sensibilities that seem like they came out of nowhere after Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. Not to say Sidney Poitier didn't want to make these movies with Bill Cosby, but I do wonder if there had been as much gas in his tank to make these movies if it wasn't for this changing black context.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Eddie Murphy, there was a part of him that always wanted to make Boomerang and these movies. And you know, it always seemed like Eddie Murphy just had more fun.
Well, that was the thing.
Yeah, so.
That was the thing.
But yeah, that is a good parallel.
Most definitely. All right. We got an email from Michael Lockett.
What's up, Michael?
Len Vince and fellow members of the Council of Michaels, Michael Dennis. Oh, he's putting Mike in.
Mike in the Council.
Mike, who was here for our review of Riverbend last week.
Right.
Try as I might, but there was no better way to describe my personal mission this week than a hullabaloo.
Okay.
It was good stuff. Even the bad stuff, based on the commentary and critique, was great. I had never heard of Riverbend, and I am truly happy to have been introduced to it. I couldn't get my eyeballs on a really good version, but what I could see on YouTube was breathtaking. I can only imagine what a fully restored print will look like, especially if we get the director commentary or other extras. Watching this film made me instantly curious as to whether Sok Lee had, I think you meant Spike Lee. Spike Lee had seen this and whether it influenced his The Five Bloods in any way. Very different films and circumstances, but black soldiers with agency are hard to come by in film. Good point. On my time travels, I visited you two when you reviewed Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman. When it comes to Tyler Perry movies, I am always both incredibly happy that doors are being opened for men in our community and completely embarrassed and disgusted by how black women are treated and how flat we are portrayed. Thankfully, I have you two to voice similar takes. It's cathartic to hear other people go in on how one of us treats us. I have never stopped and looked, but perhaps one or both of you have looked at the reviews on Tyler Perry films from the diaspora and particularly on the African continent. I pray that they are not taking this work as the true essence of what Black America is like. I've never taken the opportunity to look at that myself.
Yeah, but, you know.
Mike continues. I rarely comment on the binge lounges, but the musical riffs one had me rolling. I had forgotten about how suspect Seven Brides for Seven Brothers was.
It is amazing.
I guess the censors were buying lynching postcards when this film passed over their desks. Finally, you two and Mike sent me down a rabbit hole with the Heather Hunter talk.
Oh, my God.
A Soul Train hole, not her day job.
Oh.
If you ever want to get lost in the late 70s and 80s and get behind-the-scenes stories, Soul Train Days on YouTube is outstanding.
I'm glad he said that.
I'm not. So what is Soul
They
Train Days?
interview all the dancers.
Oh, really?
So it's like they interview the dancers who were there, and it is amazing. Because, you know, it's Soul Train.
Oh. I was not aware of it.
Right.
Not aware of it. A quick question. Did you two watch the America Soul series about Don Cornelius and Soul Train? All the best, Michael Lockett.
I did not watch it.
I did not either.
I kind of halfway meant to, and then it kind of slipped from my. I will have to say, I think it got to the point very quickly where they were doing a lot of stunt casting, so that it didn't make me want to watch as much.
Right.
And then just don't have the time.
Hey,
Yeah.
time keeps on slipping. All right, we got.
And did Michael say it was good?
He did not say.
Right. Okay.
That was it.
Well, let us know if it was good, Michael.
We have one more email, Vincent. This is from our good friend George Carmona.
Hey, George.
Gents and missionaries, keeping this one quick as I'm catching up on shows. Excluding Frasier and Lilith.
Oh, for God's sake.
The bench starts in regards to Cheers with Nick, Carla's ex-husband, who got a spinoff. Harry the Hat, Harry Anderson before Night Court. Ladies' man Paul, he was a big dude who got hot women. That was Paul. He became almost a semi-regular in the last few seasons, yes, because they were chubby chasers. Kelly, who was Woody's girlfriend and soon wife, he made a song about her. Kelly, 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 Kelly. And in a stretch, Vera, Norm's wife. We get a lot of about her without ever seeing her, only topped by Niall's wife, Maris. Have a great show, gents.
Well, thank you, George.
Thank you, George. Supporting my argument about the Cheers bench versus the Cosby Show bench.
I mean, those were 4 solid choices. I mean, still a lot of room on the bench. It's nice to have room to sit.
Yeah, here's the thing. The more I thought about it, Cosby does that bench you're talking about. I don't think it's as deep as
all right,
you believe.
Fine.
But we're going to move on. That is our emails.
Thank you.
Our missives from the missionaries. If you would like to hear your email read here online, no promises because we get a bunch that we don't read. But email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's micheauxmission@gmail.com.
All right.
All right. And it is time for me to announce that this episode of the Micheaux Mission is brought to you by our good friends at BetterHelp. If you are ever thinking of trying out therapy, give BetterHelp a try. They can be reached at betterhelp.com, HELP, and you can use promo code MM for 10% off of your first month. All right?
All right.
And now it is time for us to move on into the top 5.
All right.
Who's your top 5? My top 5 is...
See, Lisa says something I don't want to talk about it.
My top 5 is... My top 5 is... My top 5 is...
Top 5. Where I create a list and I read off said list and I wait with bated breath for Vincent's scintillating commentary on said list.
Scintillating.
Keeping it in theme, we are going to be reviewing Hammer with Fred Williamson tonight. Hammer is actually the nickname of Fred Williamson.
Yes.
Who was a former football player. A professional football player, and that was his nickname in football. Do you know why he got his nickname, the Hammer?
Not only do I not know that, what I was about to ask you was he good?
Oh yes,
okay.
He was considered good. I don't believe he's in the Hall of Fame, and I think it's because he ultimately got bored with football, which is why he quit football.
Okay,
but the reason
did he hit people hard?
There's a story.
Okay.
So he found his way backwards into football.
Okay.
I think he was a little bit into track, but then he was a big guy. So they said, like, dude, play football. And he's like, I don't want to play football. I don't want to play football. That people get hit, get hurt playing football.
Right. I'm too pretty to play football.
Right. Mm-hmm. But he said, okay, they're going to make me play football. He played football, but he played on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I believe he was like either a tight end or a wide receiver because he could catch, right?
Sure.
That was in college.
Okay.
So then he does good and he gets drafted into the NFL. Mm-hmm. And when he gets drafted into the NFL, they basically tell him, okay, you're going to play cornerback, which is on defense.
Okay.
He's like, I played offense my whole time. Why are you going to have me play defense now? You're big. We need you. You want to be on the team. This is where you're going to play.
Okay.
All right. So he's going to play cornerback. First time at practice, he's lined up across, and I forget the player that he's lined up across, but it's like their superstar wide receiver.
Okay.
And they run the play, wide receiver blows by him, and the catches the ball. Coach gets mad. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not supposed to let him get off the line. Do not let him get off the line. That is your job.
Okay.
Next play, they run it. Now he is standing, like before he's backing off the wide receiver. Now he's standing right there in front of the wide receiver. Mm-hmm. It's like, why are you right there? He's just going to run by you. He's like, just hike the ball. Hike the ball. Hike. Wide receiver starts to make his move. Fred Williamson knocks him out.
Okay. All right.
Plastered him on the field.
Okay. All right.
And the coach says, you got to stop hammering the players because this is practice.
Right. And then that stuck.
Hammer became his nickname.
Hammer. All right.
That was his nickname.
All right.
There have been many hammers.
Many hammers who may or may not have hurt them.
Right.
Okay.
So, Vincent.
Yes.
I put it upon to you to choose.
Choose.
Who is the one that deserves the nickname Hammer?
I've probably already shown my hand.
We will see.
Yes.
We shall see. Starting with an honorable mention.
Okay.
At number 6. Okay, that maybe you may choose.
Okay.
But we don't know.
Well, it depends on who the honorable mention is.
This honorable mention is from...
Can I touch him?
You can.
Okay, then I'm probably not going to choose him because the one that I'm going to choose, you can't touch him.
Okay. This honorable mention was a former member of the Philadelphia Flyers, 2-time Stanley Cup winner. 2-time Stanley Cup winner, Dave Scholes.
Okay, he was also called the Hammer.
He was also renowned as one of hockey's best enforcers, who actually holds the NHL record for the most penalty minutes in a single season at 472.
Well, good for him.
He earned the nickname the Hammer for his aggressive style of hockey and was one of the most notable enforcers on the Philadelphia Flyers' famous Broad Street Bullies, winning 2 Stanley Cups in 74 and 75.
Okay, good for him.
He was also the Hammer.
All right.
All right. So you don't have to make your selection now.
Okay, I'll wait.
But he's an honorable mention.
Right,
so he's not
right.
really, I don't believe he's
supposed to wait to the end. Hold my applause to the end.
Right.
Right.
Okay. But do you have any commentary on this?
I don't.
Are you familiar with the man at all?
Look, man.
Okay. All right. Number 5.
Number 5.
We are going to the world of mixed martial arts.
Sure.
Where we have...
Everyone knows how much Vince loves the MMA. So, yes.
We have Mark the Hammer Coleman.
Okay, all right.
Who was the tournament champion of UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Tournament champion of UFC 10 and 11, who actually was the first UFC heavyweight champion. And in UFC 82 was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He is credited with proving the abilities of wrestlers, actual wrestlers, to dominate in the developing sport of mixed martial arts. and with being one of the first in American MMA to use the strategy that he coined, ground and pound, successfully.
Sure.
So much so, earning him the moniker Godfather of Ground and Pound.
But did he turn that mother out? Is the real question.
He did not turn any mothers out.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right.
Next we have. Number 4.
Number 4.
We're going to the world of professional wrestling.
Sure.
Because we know how much Vince likes the wrestling. Wrestling, as it were.
Yeah. Who's the wrestling hammer?
For Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Right. Now, I actually liked him.
Yes.
Yes.
One of the toughest, most rugged competitors ever to come down to Pike.
Oh, yeah.
Greg the Hammer Valentine more than carried on the tradition first established by his legendary father, the late Johnny Valentine. Over 5 decades, Greg held more than 40 championships and was also inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004 and the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2016. And he denoted his nickname, the Hammer, for his vicious elbow drop.
That's right.
That he would
now,
down
question. He was a pre-WWE wrestler.
Yes, as a matter of fact, among his championships,
Yeah.
he won the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, he's an old school dude.
NWA World Tag Team Championship, which he held at one time with Ric Flair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was, Greg the Hammer Valentine, he was never I guess he was enough of a star.
Right, but and then the thing about him, and he was old school, he didn't really have a big gimmick.
No, he came out in a nice robe.
Right, he came out, right.
But that was it.
Right, like his gimmick was he would actually beat you up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite and it always was weird. Greg Valentine sounds oh, he's going to be flipping all over the place. No, he was in there breaking legs because outside of his elbow drop, he was also famous for he's the one that taught Ric Flair the figure 4.
I think I knew that.
Yeah.
I think I knew that.
They both kind of learned it from Buddy Rich, but he's the one that really incorporated it first. And then he let, Rick take it on.
So far, he's in the lead.
I would say so. That's why he's number 4.
So far, yes. Go ahead. All right.
Number 3. It's a little bit of a cheat.
Okay.
Founded in 1934, Hammer Films.
Hammer Films.
The company best known for a series of gothic horror and fantasy films made from the 50s until the 70s, many of those involving classic horror characters like Baron Victor Frankenstein, Count Dracula, The Mummy, which Hammer reintroduced to audiences by filming them in vivid color for the first time.
And they make it sexy.
Now, are you familiar with how they came to be called Hammer Films?
No, I wasn't. I didn't know they had started in 1934 until 4 seconds ago.
In November 1934, William Hines, a businessman and comedian, registered his film company, Hammer Productions Limited. It was housed in a 3-room office suite at Imperial House in London. The company name came from Hines' stage name, Will Hammer, which he had taken from the area of London in which he lived, Hammersmith.
Okay.
That's why it was called Hammer Films.
There you go.
All right.
Big fan of Hammer Films.
Me too.
Big fan.
All right. So that's number 3.
All right.
In the running. Number 2. Who you can still put hands on. Is one Stanley Burrell.
Okay.
A.K.A. MC Hammer.
There's a hammer in front of MC Hammer? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to hear who that is.
All right. MC Hammer, for those who don't know, was an American rapper, dancer, record producer, entrepreneur.
He was an experience. Like you really had to be there.
You really
had to.
You really did. It's interesting. I was thinking about this when I was compiling this list. You know how people always, when they start evoking the name of Michael Jackson,
Sure.
not long after they start evoking the name of Prince. Mm-hmm. There was a moment in time, folks. It was brief, relatively, but there was a moment in time when the person giving Michael Jackson a run for his money as the biggest entertainer in the world was MC Hammer.
Lynn,
and he had some receipts.
One of my hip hop hills, and I have gotten to knock down, drag out fights about this in barbershops, backyards, and various gatherings all up and down the East Coast through the 90s, that I said if I had to choose between going to see Hammer and fill in the blank of MC that we all love and adore, I said, I'm 100% going to see Hammer. Like, Hammer is going to give me my money's worth.
Well, that's very true.
Show.
That's very true.
Like, obviously, Eric B. and Rakim are better. Mm-hmm. But if I only got $50 and I'm going to see a show,
I'm going to see Hammer.
I'm going to see Hammer.
Yes. I don't know if he beats everybody in your
Look,
for me.
Look,
but he tops a whole lot.
Look, you gonna get a damn circus with MC Hammer in 1993.
That's very, very, very true. Hammer, just to continue with his bona fides. Mm-hmm. A multi-award winner, he is considered a forefather and pioneering innovator of pop rap.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And is the first hip-hop artist to achieve diamond status with his album Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em.
Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em.
BET ranked Hammer as the number 7 best dancer of all time. That sounds about right. And Vibe, in the Best Rapper Ever tournament, declared him the 17th favorite of all time during the first round. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like Vincent said, MC Hammer was indeed an experience. Now, I'm curious, because he was an experience.
It was an experience.
But the world turned a little bit on his music.
Yes.
At one time.
Right.
And then he did fall into he had some financial difficulties.
Sure.
That he seems to have, for the most part, climbed out of.
And part of it was it seemed like he was taking care of half of Oakland.
Yes. Has they done a complete 180 on MC Hammer?
I think they have. I'm actually waiting for an MC Hammer anniversary tour deal. Like I don't know what year Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em came out, but like this is like the easiest money that all these people are making, the 20th anniversary, the 30th anniversary, and it's like the best money ever to make. Mm-hmm. And I am halfway waiting for a big Hammer tour.
It came out in 1990.
Right. So next year it'll be 35 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm 100% waiting for it. And then, I also have to say the thing that I've also enjoyed over the past 15 years is MCs telling stories about Hammer.
Being on the road with Hammer, yeah.
And how Hammer apparently was about that life. Mm-hmm. Like Redman and Outkast and Third Base, like everyone has stories about Hammer wasn't no play toy.
Oh yeah,
like he was a real dude.
There was a time, folks, when the pop, rap started losing its shine. Mm-hmm. So Hammer got a little, not gangster. Gangster would be.
Oh, the 2 videos for Pumps in the Bump are amazing.
He got a lot more edgy. Mm-hmm. And the reason why it was easy for him to go there, because that was closer to the real Hammer.
Right.
That was the real Hammer.
Right.
That was definitely closer to the real
he likes the girl with the pumps in the bump.
Yes, he does. Mm-hmm. Now, You seem surprised that there is another.
I cannot
hammer
wait to see
above.
the Hammer above MC Hammer.
Okay. This Hammer,
Mm-hmm.
who you cannot put your hands on,
Okay.
unfortunately. Nicknamed Hammer, or perhaps better known as Hammering Hank Aaron.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Did they call? I didn't know people called him the Hammer.
Well, Hammer was his nickname, but then they also called him Hammer and Hank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, of course.
At the time of his retirement, Hank Aaron held most of baseball's key career power hitting records. He broke the long-standing MLB record for career home runs held by Babe Ruth and remained the career leader for 33 years. He hit 24 or more home runs every year from 1955 through 1973 is one of only 2 players to hit 30 or more home runs in a season at least 15 times. He holds the MLB record for the most career runs batted in, extra base hits, total bases. He's also 3rd all-time for career hits, 5th in run scores. He is one of only 4 players who have at least 17 seasons with 150 more hits. His ability as a hitter can be illustrated by his still having over 3,000 hits, even without counting any of his home runs. He was a National League All-Star for 20 seasons and an American League All-Star for 1 season, and he holds the record for the most All-Star selections at 25, while sharing the record for the most All-Star games played, 24, with Willie Mays and Stan Musial. He was a 3-time Golden Glove winner, a former MVP, for the World Series when the Milwaukee Braves won. He was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and is widely recognized as one of the top offensive players of all time, so much so that in 1999 MLB introduced the Hank Aaron Award for offensive players named in his honor. He was also gifted with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2002.
Yeah. Also, is that where Hammer got the name from?
Yes, because he was a fan of.
He was the Oakland A's bat boy.
Yes.
And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Now,
Of course.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And I agree that of all the Hammers,
Hank Aaron.
is Hank Aaron.
Of course.
An argument can be made for, I think, the person who you were going to choose,
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer.
Yeah.
And the argument is this.
Don't argue with him about it, though.
No, because he would definitely
he would pick Hank Aaron.
He would pick Hank Aaron.
And you don't want no issues with Hammer.
Right.
Right.
But the argument can be made, but just like you said, you know, Hank Aaron, who unfortunately passed away in 2021, he was better known as
Hammering Hank Aaron. That's right.
Whereas MC Hammer, everybody calls him Hammer.
That's right.
Like Fred Williamson, nobody says, "Hey Hammer."
Right.
You know, nobody says Greg Valentine, "Hey Hammer." They say Greg. You know, Hammer, they call Hammer.
That's right.
So the argument can be made that Hammer actually owns it, and I will put up the defense for him that he's holding it because his idol.
He's holding it for Hank Aaron.
Is no longer here.
I like that. All right.
Okay. All right.
Well, those are some mighty hammers.
Mighty Hammer.
Mighty hammers.
All right.
All right.
We're going to continue with the show,
right.
but we're going to be reviewing tonight Hammer from 1972. And as we have been doing as of late, and Vincent had said that he enjoys, we are going to be staying here in 1972 for the next couple of weeks, for the next couple of films, which will be announcing at the end of the show, are also from 1972. So we will be touching on some of the more, interesting pop culture things that happened in 1972. But getting out of the way, one of the things that we have been touching on is people that we lost this year. of 1972. And I thought it was also interesting because 1972 is, you know, so long ago, to also touch on some of the people who came to us in 1972.
Oh, yeah.
So, in 1972, unfortunately, we lost Micheaux Jackson. And speaking of baseball legends, the great Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson.
They both passed away in 1972. Jackie Robinson, of course, the one of the first, arguably one of the first black players to cross the color line in professional baseball and smashed it.
Yeah.
So much so that his number 42 is retired by all of Major League Baseball. And Micheaux Jackson is the goddess of gospel music.
Will be done. Trouble the water. That's what I always think about.
There you go.
Yeah.
Born
in 72.
In 1972. Man, you want to talk about a roster of greats. We have, I'll work my way up. Marlon Wayans.
Yeah.
Of the Wayans, who I believe is the youngest of the Wayans.
Of the brothers.
Of the brothers,
yeah,
yes.
Sure.
He was born in 1972. We also had born in 1972 the comedian Chris Tucker.
Okay.
We also had music producers born in 1972. We had Timbaland.
Okay.
As well as Jermaine Dupri.
Okay. All right.
Born in 1972, Diana Ross gave birth to Tracy Ellis Ross.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
And Maya Rudolph.
Okay. All right.
We were gifted with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
From your girl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The great Minnie Riperton.
The world of rap. Man, look. Talk about, how's this for a concert of Born in 1972?
Okay.
Common.
Nice.
Busta Rhymes.
Nice.
Biggie Smalls.
Nice. Good year.
That's a good concert.
Good year.
That's a concert and a half, dog. Also born in 1972, we have Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay. All right. All right.
And Thandie Newton.
Tondaway
Newton.
All right.
Excuse me. Tondaway Newton. Born in 1972. And if that wasn't enough, we have in superstar category Dwayne Johnson and Idris Elba.
Isn't that weird that Marlon Wayans is the same age as Idris Elba in The Rock?
That is exactly what I said.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I said.
I heard him talking a couple of weeks ago, and it, like, you always forget how old Marlon Wayans is. Because he's like the perpetual little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you forget how old he is, but that then makes you remember how long ago In Living Color was.
Right.
When he was just the kid.
Right.
You know? And then you have to remember that Marlon Wayans, here's a bit of trivia that some people may not know, was at one time cast to be Robin.
Yeah.
In Batman film.
Returns.
Batman Returns.
Right.
The Michael Keaton.
Right.
film.
So if he's cast to be Robin in 90.
Right.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But it is.
That's crazy that he's as old as Idris Elba.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy, right? All right.
So.
All right. It is now time for us to get into the Game of Kings.
Game of Kings.
And that would be 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, that star of Hammer from 1972.
It's so bizarre.
It's not
like, is that D'Urville Martin?
Wait a minute. It's not only is it so bizarre. Let's talk about it now so we don't get lost in it in the review. It's not only bizarre that Dervell Martin is in Hammer. It's bizarre because two reasons. One, as the film comes on, Dervell Martin has somehow successfully negotiated that he gets and Dervell Martin.
And he's in like 3 scenes.
He's in 3 scenes.
He's in like 3 scenes with 8 other people.
He's in 3 scenes with 8 other people, and they're at least a half an hour apart.
Right.
So it's not like he's in 3 consecutive scenes.
It is the most bizarre. But apparently he and Fred Williamson got along really well. He's in like all of the Fred Williamson movies. But I'm sorry, go ahead. What we got?
It's bugged.
It is
so bugged. Because when you see Dervell Martin, I was like, oh, he's a nice little part in this movie.
Well, you think it's going to be like Black Caesar? And he's going to be like the sidekick?
Nope.
All right, go ahead.
All right. 6 Degrees of Dervell Martin. Keeping it in theme, these are 2 actors who were also born in 1972.
Okay.
In 6 films or less, Vincent, connect Dervell Martin
2.
Toni Collette.
Oh, yeah. Toni Collette. What was she just in?
Are you thinking about that Netflix miniseries?
I might be. What?
The one about her, like, as the mother, that the husband kills the mother?
Maybe. What was her movie? What was her movie when she came out?
Her big movie?
Yeah, it was
Muriel's Wedding? Something tells me that's not what you're thinking of.
No.
Clock Watchers. That might be what you're thinking.
No.
That was kind of big.
What? Toni Collette. What was the last thing she was in?
She was in a big movie that I'm pretty sure you saw, but older movie. Last thing that she was in that has come out was a voice role. So I'm sure you didn't see it.
Sure.
It was that Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken movie.
Oh, that's so funny. Adam wanted to see that, and then it was gone before we could go see it.
Yeah, that did not last in theaters long.
Yeah.
But she definitely is in a film that I would bet that you have seen.
Was she just
a film with a Philadelphia connection? I'll give you even that clue.
She wasn't in the Bad Boys movies, and she wasn't in. What was Toni Collette in? Oh, I'm looking right at her, and I just can't remember a thing she was in.
Okay.
I really can't.
Well, I'll give you this movie then.
What's the movie?
The Sixth Sense.
Is she in The Sixth Sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's the leading woman in that Sixth Sense.
She's not his wife, is he? Is she?
I believe she is.
Is Toni Collette the wife?
Yep.
In The Sixth Sense?
Yep.
All right. Well, since you gave me the movie, I'll go a little hard. I won't use Bruce Willis.
She's actually nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her role.
All right. Well, let's do it like this. Dervell Martin is in 501 Black Hands South with Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is in American Gangster with Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is in Gladiator with Jaquan Phoenix. I never forget it. I always forget how to pronounce it. Joaquin Phoenix. And then Joaquin Phoenix is in Signs with M. Night Shyamalan. And then M. Night Shyamalan is in Sixth Sense.
Very good.
You're right.
Very good.
Yeah. I figured take the long way home. I guess I could have. What's the little boy's name?
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
Could have done him. I think I'm wondering if the movie that you were trying to pull, Shirley, Toni Collette, was Little Miss Sunshine. She's in that as well.
Who does she play in that?
I believe she plays.
Did she play
mother.
the wife?
Yeah.
God, talk about somebody vanishing in a role.
Yeah, I love Toni Collette.
I remember every single member of that family except her.
Really?
She looks different in a lot of different movies, though. Yeah. She's okay.
I loved her. Did you ever watch The United States of Terror?
No.
That was a good show.
Okay.
She was good in that.
Toni Collette, that's a good one.
And the miniseries that we were thinking of, I just wanted to look it up, The Staircase.
Okay.
That was it.
All right.
So there you go.
All right.
Very
Who else
good.
was born in 72?
In 6 films or less, connect D'Urville Martin to Elizabeth Berkley.
Oh, Elizabeth Berkley. Mm-hmm. Oh, the bad thing is, last thing I'm thinking about her is Du Bois.
Oh, is she in The Boys?
Yeah, is it? Yeah, remember she was breastfeeding Homelander.
You know, I don't think I ever clocked that was Elizabeth.
That was Elizabeth Berkley. All right, so Elizabeth Berkley in movies. What she was in?
Well, you know her infamous movie.
It was not Showgirls.
Yeah.
Oh right, it's right. So Showgirls. Bad thing is, I don't know who else. Oh, you're right.
You know what?
I'm
looking here.
Right, you're right. I'm thinking about somebody just said. I'm thinking about Elizabeth Shue. Elizabeth Berkley is in Showgirls.
Yeah, because she's not in The Boys.
Sure. She's in Showgirls. And what else is Elizabeth Berkley in the movies? Because Showgirls. It's a shame none of those
She's also in another
Saved
movie.
by the Bell movies never made it to the movies.
She's in a couple of films that I don't know whether or not you saw, but they were nice sized films.
What was the last thing she was in?
Last film she was in
Elizabeth Berkley.
was Women in Trouble from 2009.
Oh, but I hope those women figured it out. Shame they were in trouble. What's this? Yeah, what is she in? Because I know she kind of wasn't around for years, and then she started to come back around.
Well, she was in a Woody Allen movie, The Curse of the Jade Scorpion.
Oh yeah, I had left Woody Allen alone by then.
She was also in. Oh, that's not the movie I thought it was. She was also in, from 1999, a film I believe you saw,
Which would be?
it's been referenced here a few times. Any Given Sunday.
Who is she in Any Given Sunday?
That's a good question. She's not high on the call sheet, so
I mean, it's like 30 ways to get to Any Given Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Wrap that up. Let's see if there's an interesting way to get to Any Given Sunday. Okay, here you go. Any Given Sunday.
She plays a high-priced escort who provides Tony with a girlfriend experience.
You know what? I do remember her because she's only in like one scene. Yeah. Okay, so this is how we're going to do that. We'll be interesting with Any Given Sunday. Same route, D'Urville Martin, Dick Anthony Williams, but Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Samuel L. Jackson. Mm-hmm. Samuel L. Jackson is in one of the greatest films that's ever been made, and hopefully it is in the National Registry of Great Films. And if we send another probe out into space, it should be on the probe as the culmination of our artistic efforts as a people. And that would, of course, be Deep Blue Sea.
Of course.
With LL Cool J, who somehow survives. And then LL Cool J is, of course, infamously in Any Given Sunday with Elizabeth Berkley.
Very good. Very good, Vince.
Is Kyle MacLachlan in Showgirls? Someone said Kyle MacLachlan was in Showgirls. He was in Showgirls?
I believe he is.
Oh, well, hell, I could have talked about Dune. I didn't get a chance to talk about Dune. I didn't get an opportunity to talk about Dune. I missed a Dune opportunity.
Oh, darn.
I missed a Dune opportunity. The spice must flow, Lynn. The spice must flow.
It is now time for us
Or
to get...
these geniuses took like these apex predators and made them smart.
To get into our review of Hammer from 1972.
Did you see Deep Blue Sea in the movies? Wait, are we still on? Or are we waiting?
I was about to go.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to take 5 minutes. We were going to talk about Deep Blue Sea while the cameras weren't running. I'm sorry you all had to see that. I love that dumbass movie.
I have not seen the movie in a long time. It doesn't. It is a dumbass movie. It is a very dumbass movie.
Did you see it in the movies?
I did see it in the movie.
So you had no idea about what was coming?
No, we didn't.
Lynn, I laughed so hard when it happened. Like, I missed maybe the next 10 minutes of the movie.
A lot of people did.
Oh.
A lot of people laughed.
What a stupid movie.
A lot of people laughed.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know the last time you see it. It's still stupid.
Yes.
But the effects in the movie...
Oh, are terrible.
They are god-awful.
They're absolutely terrible.
They are god-awful.
You ever see Jaws 3D?
I saw Jaws 3D in the movie theater.
So did I.
I did. I just did a Jaws deep dive with Dylan last week. Yes. I saw Jaws 3D. It's not a good time either. It's an equally dumbass movie. A lot of dumbass shark movies. There's a lot of dumbass shark movies. There probably is actually only 2 good shark movies.
It's Jaws, it's open water.
And that's it.
And then that's really it. That is it. And then the rest of them
A dumbass
just
shark
get
movie.
some brew but yeah, and then Deep Blue Sea is the greatest film that's ever been made, though. In the history of film.
The Sharknado. I don't know.
I never really liked the Sharknado. See, you can't be in on the joke too much, which is what Sharknado was. See, Deep Blue Sea, they took it just seriously enough that it made it hilarious.
You know, it's funny how we continually deprive each other with the hills that we die on. May I continue?
Oh, boy, I'm sorry.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
A Los Angeles dock worker becomes a boxer,
Sure, why not?
but his crooked manager is involved in various rackets, and he's working for the mob. Fred Williamson, Bernie Hamilton, Vanetta McGee, William Smith, Charles Lampkin, Mel Stewart, and D'Urville Martin star in Hammer from 1972, directed by Bruce D. Clark and brought to you here on The Mission by Vincent Williams. Vince, what say you of Hammer?
Well, it's actually appropriate. We were joking about a film like Deep Blue Sea because I do think the perfect time to have seen Hammer was the weekend that it came out in 1972 in a theater filled with young people.
Yep.
As sort of a communal experience. The second best time to see it would have been during the golden age of Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Where you and your friends, you get together and you buy some food and beverage of choice and you make a night of it where we would get like 3 of these films because, much like this one, they come in about an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. So they're not long. You don't have to do this because it's not a lot there. As far as the film, as you said, as far as the plot goes, Fred Williamson plays B.J. Hammer, who is he's a dock worker, and the film starts out lets you know that he is a dock worker who can talk with his hands, mm-hmm. gets into his fight, gets recruited by this corrupt manager. Mobster, criminal, it's all kind of vague.
Very nebulous.
All kind of vague.
Yeah.
And then again, plot-wise, we're supposed to follow his journey mm-hmm. as he becomes a boxer. And using even a phrase like plot and journey is very loose because this is a film that, again, it's an hour in a half. I think it comes in at 1 hour and 31 minutes. And that includes the credits. That includes an amazingly long chase scene.
Yeah.
That includes a training montage that is completely unnecessary for the amount of actual boxing that you see. Mm-hmm. So that the irony is that someone like Fred Williamson, the man and the actor, became one of the most vocal defenders of quote unquote blaxploitation films. Like, he famously did not like that term. He thought that it was kind of intrinsically racist mm-hmm. and people, but there were a group of films that just were not paid that much attention to. Like, there just was not enough attention paid to the construction of the film. And this very much falls under that. And I think, Fred Williamson, you completely understand the instinct to put Fred Williamson in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Good-looking guy, well-built guy, and the film knows it. Like, in the film that's an hour and a half, I think literally he spends half of the film with no shirt on.
Yes, or when he does have a shirt, it's got a deep V.
Right, deep V. Well, even you're saying a deep V, but like there are 2 or 3 times where he's out and about and he has on a jacket and no shirt. Mm-hmm. But talking about this lack of attention, this is, I think, our 3rd time or 4th time talking about Fred Williamson. I think Fred Williamson is actually really charismatic.
Yes.
Like Fred Williamson is the embodiment of that type of man that women want to get with, mm-hmm. but men want to hang out with. Mm-hmm. Like, he seems like a good dude. Mm-hmm. And this film doesn't capture a lot of that.
No.
Like I looked it up. This is, technically his 2nd film. I don't know when The Legend of Nigger Charlie was shot, but it came out a couple of months before this. But both of them came out in 1972. Maybe if I squint or if I'm feeling generous, I can say maybe the director didn't know what he had with Fred Williamson. But by this point, he had been in MASH, the film, where he was good. He had been on 17 episodes of Julia.
Yes.
Where you saw him as this leading man. So it really is just kind of this neglect that the film doesn't tap into his charisma. Mm-hmm. Like the charisma part of him. Vanetta McGee, she's there to be pretty. Like, her whole job is to be pretty, and she is pretty. but there's no real purpose.
You don't really even get an idea of what she's doing.
You don't understand why she's involved in this criminal activity, what her connection is to these people. And in her character's defense, I never really got a sense of what this criminal endeavor did.
Yeah.
Like it starts out and there's this, there's like this deep kind of 1972 mafia type guy who's talking about importing drugs and they're smuggling in drugs.
$1 million in heroin.
$1 million in heroin. But then that plot point goes away completely.
It's gone.
Until the aforementioned car chase scene. And then it goes away again. As we said, the whole primary plot is that Hammer is in this corrupt boxing operation. So at some point you know he's going to have to throw a fight. But that doesn't happen until the very end, and even that is almost an afterthought.
Yeah.
So just as a plot, it's nothing there. Direction wise, there's nothing really going on.
No.
The fight choreography is nothing. The chase, like nothing is really there. So as this sort of film experience, it's nothing there. Now, as a 70s deal, again, it's 1972, you love it. Are there a couple of things in there that I said, oh, hey, how about that? The main black gangster is played by character actor Charles Lampkin. He plays Big Sid. And Charles Lampkin is one of those actors.
He shows up.
That kind of shows up. He did a lot of work on television. He would show up in films. And I said, hey, it's that guy. And I do have to say, it was interesting seeing him play a heavy.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, well, he doesn't really do that much. Along those lines, the person who plays the professor, who's the coach.
Mel Stewart.
Now
that's dude.
Love Mel Stewart. The funny thing is, the thing that I love Mel Stewart in the most is Let's Do It Again, where he also plays a boxing coach.
Manager.
Manager. So, it's like, oh, okay, they're. We mentioned Dervo Martin showing up, and it's like, okay, well, sure, that's weird, Dervo Martin. And in one of the scenes that he shows up, he's talking to one character, and quite honestly, it felt like that scene in Airplane, where the two brothers were speaking Jav.
Yeah,
because there is a scene where the brothers are speaking Jav to each other. Lynn, I actually had no idea what they were talking about.
No idea.
Like they were talking back and forth and laughing, and you're going to do the cards. You got to have your toes curled. And I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. I did not know what was going on.
Blink and you miss them. Rerun.
It shows up in the background.
It's like, is that Rerun in the background?
Pop locking. Yep. Yes, he is.
And you know what, Lynn? I have to say, this is a kind of random, bizarre energy that I love about these 70s films. Again, speaking of these two character actors, I think the biggest crime that this film commits for me, and it's always a sign of really lazy storytelling to me, is that when they give Charles Lampkin as Big Sid and they give Mel Stewart as a professor a moment to allude to their past, they allude to stories that seem to be far more interesting than what's on the screen. At one point, the professor says he used to be a boxer, but weird women, alcohol, and a corrupt manager landed me here. And I said, wait, I want to hear more about the weird women and the alcohol. Like, this is way more interesting than this. But ultimately, there's a reason that we talk about films like Cotton Comes to Harlem, Shaft, The Split. And I don't think it is a coincidence that these are three films that were and I picked action films. Like, I don't want to talk about like Claudine and the Learning Tree. I'm talking about action films. And these are films that are adapted from novels so that there's more heft and weight to the actual narrative. And they just so happen to be set in the 70s and star 70s actors. And then you have films that we have referred to as blaxploitation films. And I think this is very much one of the latter, so that I'll stop where I started. I do think if you want to have a night of blaxploitation, you want to stream some things and you want to, pile up 3 and load up 3 and then watch them. Sure, this can be one of them, but as a film experience in and of itself, I found it kind of forgettable and a bit of a waste.
Yeah, I think one of the things that saves this film, because I agree with pretty much everything that you said. The story is, it's, first of all, if you've seen a lot of boxing films, you've seen semblance of this story. Already, right? And considering that this is set in 1972, if you have seen Rocky first and then watch this, a lot of these beats are going to kind of maybe feel a little familiar. So the story's not really doing anything. I don't think he taps into Fred Williamson's charisma. But to be fair, I think Fred Williamson, while he has done work at this time, I think Fred Williamson is still trying to find his way as a leading man in this film.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right, in film. Upon where he, everything is centered around him, because his character is pretty much like, it's the lead, but he's also like, for 1972, almost squeaky clean good guy. Right? And I don't think Fred Williamson fits in that role. Right. You can still be a good guy, but he's a little bit more edgier. And I don't think he's allowed to show his edges as much in this film as he would progressively as he moved on into the other films. But he's there. His essence is there. You can get the hint that there's something more. The director doesn't know how to pull it out of him. You get the hint that if Vanetta McGee had been given something to work with, she might have been able to do something with it. But we will never know, because she's not giving pretty much anything to work with. Even though, to be fair, there is, as you talked about montage, as of course is the prerequisite lovemaking scene in this film, which I think is very tastefully done.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
Yep. And actually, that not more than tastefully done. I think it's actually very tenderly and beautifully done, especially in the way that it moves from them being in bed making love to one another to the following morning.
You're 100% right.
As they wake up and then into their day.
That's a good moment.
And that is actually a very beautiful moment.
Yeah, that's a good
ending
moment.
With a soft kiss between the two of them. And it is moments like that one, you see that there is a hint of chemistry between the two of them. I don't 100% ever believe them as a couple, but that's more because of the lack of development of her character than anything that they're doing. But that is also a scene where you see what the saving grace of this movie actually is the cinematographer, Robert Stetman. Because the direction, like you said, is nothing outstanding about the direction, but the film looks good.
Okay.
The scenes are well done. You know, that montage is beautiful. There's a scene of those two just laying in the bed that I think is a gorgeous scene. And it's a scene that you don't often see because it is not two people laying in bed, you know, post sex. They're actually just laying in bed in love. Yeah. You know, growing in love with one another. You know, her legs stretched over his waist. It's a beautiful, beautiful moment. So that is the saving grace of this film, is that it is a good-looking movie. There are and in a bit of a defense of some of the direction, there are some shots that are interesting in the opening, like you mentioned, where there's a fight at the dock. There are some interesting angles where you're looking almost in between people's legs as they're fighting, yet you're seeing people in the distance watching them. That's a hard shot to pull off. They pull it off.
I didn't think they did.
I think they pulled it off for the most part.
Okay.
I mean, like, no, is it Spike Lee may have framed it better?
Like a fight on Batman.
But well, I thought it
okay.
It worked for what it was doing. It was one of the better shots.
Sure, okay.
Let's put it that way. So you had that save in this film, but then everything else is just what it is. Of the performances, the performance that I enjoyed the most, like you just mentioned, is Mel Stewart as the professor. Yeah. I would have gone for a prequel of the professor. I would have been there for that. Charles Lampkin as a heavy. You're right. You don't usually see him as like a pure heavy. Right. And I think it shows in this film because he kind of waffles a little bit. You
don't really understand his deal.
Yeah. But to be fair, the movie, like you said, it throws so many balls in the air that you don't know what is going on.
Like that level of uncertainty, which I think lends a little spark to a movie. I don't know if it was deliberate or if it was just, again, this sort of lazy writing.
I didn't think it may have been lazy. I mean, lazy writing. Yeah.
I 100%. I did know.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I would say if it was a shame if you didn't already know that Fred Williamson would go on. Like, this would not stop the Fred Williamson experience.
Look, in 3 months, Black Caesar's about to come out.
And it's a done deal.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
We're off and running.
Yeah.
Which is the perfect amalgamation of the Fred Williamson character on film. He's finding his way here. And you can see what lies ahead in Black Caesar. Other than that, you're right. It's a film that's a little forgettable. And unfortunately, the writing is on the wall. One of the things that is celebrated about this era of film that we talk about is, of course, the themes and everything that happens in it. Sometimes, to a degree, the soundtrack. The soundtrack ain't nothing to shout about. Like, the opening song is just, Hammer! He's a bad man.
Look, man.
And we're done.
Someone said, Solomon Burke, make me something like Shaft. Here's $30.
Hammer. He's a bad man.
Yeah.
I'm going to McDonald's. So you have that. But the other thing that people talk about is at least you were fooled into thinking you were going to see something good because the movie posters would look so great.
Yes.
The movie poster for Hammer is a picture of a black and white picture of Fred Williamson, shirtless as he is for most of the movie.
Yes.
But it's just him. There's nothing around him. It's just all this white around him. And then real tiny at the bottom, like, because it's his top torso, real tiny at the bottom, there's a car, there's a couple of women, and there may be a boxing ring. That's it.
Yeah.
And then there it says Hammer.
Hammer.
As if in the shape of a hammer,
Yes, right.
but it's like off on the side, like away from him.
It's not the best poster.
Dude.
It's not Cleopatra Jones.
It's not Cleopatra Jones.
7 of pure dynamite.
It's not Cool Breeze.
Yeah.
It's not Superfly.
Look.
It's not, Uptown Saturday Night.
Right.
It is just boring.
Yeah.
So you're saying you might have been in a theater filled with people watching this movie. I don't know if a whole lot of people, that wouldn't have made me go to this movie.
I mean, look, it's Fred Williamson. I'm assuming, I guess, like you said, he was good at football. Like, I'm assuming.
You don't know nothing.
I'm assuming Fred Williamson.
Was good.
Well, but here's the thing. Part of the reason I chose this is that this is at the beginning of the Fred Williamson as the blaxploitation star.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So in a lot of ways, this is a poster that you could 100% argue for in 1974.
Okay.
Because by then, so now I'm wondering, was The Cell, this is a starring vehicle for Fred Williamson. He don't have no shirt on. Like, that's all you need. Like, that's the whole selling point. Because again, we talk about them, and part of the reason I chose them, I do think Fred Williamson and Jim Brown, for me, are the two most fascinating personalities to come out of the blaxploitation period. Like I think Pam Grier transcends pretty quickly.
Yes.
Even if her acting career doesn't necessarily, like, she becomes almost iconic.
Okay.
Outside of it.
And not almost, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We just talked about I just forget Cleopatra.
Thandaway Newton?
No, Cleopatra Jones. Tamara Dobson.
Yeah.
Who is kind of synonymous with Cleopatra Jones. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know how much she was going to do
outside of that.
Of just because, she's just such a tall, imposing woman. Like, I think she has a personality. I think she could act a little bit, but just, I don't know what kind of opportunity she was ever going to have. Mm-hmm. I think Jim Brown was actually a good actor.
A very good actor.
Who got pulled into this. Mm-hmm. And I think, while I don't think Fred Williamson at his best is a great actor, I think he's good enough. Mm-hmm. And the charisma more than makes up for it.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you look at the stats, you can put him right next to Steve McQueen. Mm-hmm. But because he's black, and it's the 70s, he never got the Steve McQueen opportunities.
I don't see, the only pushback I'll give on that is that I don't know if it's so much that he didn't get the opportunities versus Fred Williamson, from everything that I've learned about the man, wanting to very much be in control of his own destiny.
Yes, absolutely. But part of that is because he's a black man. A, he can't, or rather people are going to resist that. B, he doesn't have the luxury to be Steve McQueen and just say, I'm going to take projects here, there, and the other. Like, these kind of projects are going to come to me. Like Fred Williamson has to take control, or else, like, he's not going to be able to do stuff.
See, I don't know about that. I think that Fred Williamson, we'll never know.
Right.
But I think Fred Williamson exuded enough charisma in these films that I would imagine he might have gotten some nibbles to be in some more, mainstream type of fare.
As the lead?
See, that's the thing.
Well, but
maybe not the lead.
But he's clearly a leading man. Yeah, that's my point. Like, that's my point exactly. Like, how you going to make Fred Williamson play jive-talking black sidekick, which is 100% what they wanted him to do if he left the blaxploitation world.
Well, maybe I don't know. I could see a world where Fred Williamson is approached to do maybe even same type of film, but for one of the main production houses because they were trying to dip their toe in this as well.
No.
But Fred Williamson wanting to be the lead, and
Yes.
I can see them maybe trying to pull him to be the lead, but Fred Williamson wanting to be the lead and the lead producer.
Okay,
on
well,
there. And them not being willing
sure,
to give him
sure,
that.
sure.
And that's what keeps him in this realm where he can be the man that calls his shots.
Because I'm talking about Steve McQueen. I think he ends up being a good actor later in life, but Fred Williamson very much could have had all those Burt Reynolds roles in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, he very much could have been in Smokey and the Bandit. But come on. Like, that was never going to happen.
No, that was never going to happen, but...
I don't want to lose this because this is super important. You were talking about the love scene and the little montage afterwards. Did you pick up that that's what Black Dynamite was spoofing?
Yes.
I said, oh, this is where Black Dynamite got it from.
Yes.
Because why was BJ Hammer out there playing with the children's? BJ Hammer was playing with the children's.
BJ Hammer could not make a shot. Did you notice that? Fred the Hammer Williamson was a football player. He was not a basketball
Netta McGee was out playing with the neighborhood youth. With an F.
So would you recommend that people see
Look, man,
The Hammer?
I've been talking about like I'll tell you this here's a good night for you, right? You start with this, you go to Truck Turner, you end with Shaft, or if you want something kind of bombastic that moves more, something like Cotton Comes to Harlem, and the pool gets deeper as the night goes on. But as just a film by itself, unfortunately, no, I don't. I just don't think it's enough there outside of its kind of historical, the history of it being that this is his first or second film. But yeah,
I can't recommend Hammer either. Folks, I just can't. I just don't feel it's worth the time. If you find yourself sitting in front of the screen and it's on, sure, fold your clothes to it, but do not be afraid to get up and move because there are better Fred Williamson fares out there, like Black Caesar.
Look again. I seem to remember those Nigger Charlie movies being very good. Someone brought up That Man Bolt, which I thought was fun. Yeah. You and I both said it before, and it's worth. If you want to see Fred Williamson at his loosest, Fred Williamson in 3 the Hard Way is amazing.
Yes.
Like, he's actually a good time in 3 the Hard Way. But to your point, and I think you may have said this in the episode, you can almost feel his weightlessness because he's not the only lead. So he can kind of have fun and bounce against someone like Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Jim Brown can carry the thing on his shoulders.
Yeah. And Jim Brown is so serious. You can't help but be right next to Jim Brown.
Right. Jim Brown is the original I Am Smiling.
I think this is an interesting question, so I'm just going to go here. Farrell Blackwell asked a question: what movie from around this time would have been a mainstream role for a black leading man? I know you mentioned like Smokey and the Bandit. That's around this time, but I'm trying to think.
And Smokey and the Bandit would be more 80. Like, Smokey and the Bandit is actually post Star Wars. Like, I think once you get post Star Wars, it's a whole different landscape. Yeah, I think the problem with a mainstream film around this time, frankly, so So, the one that jumps in my mind is something like The French Connection. And frankly, Fred Williamson is not a good enough actor to be in The French Connection.
I think French Connection is maybe about a year before.
Or like Dog Day Afternoon.
No.
Right. Like, I think, I think before 77, a lot of the white films were real heavy. I mean, what year is Bullet? Like, I just talked about Steve McQueen.
Bullet's around that time.
He 100% could have been in Bullet.
It would have been different, but I think he could have pulled off Bullet.
Yeah, he absolutely could have been in Bullet.
Yeah. Bullet's a good one.
I think he could have pulled off Cool Hand Luke.
I don't know about Cool Hand Luke.
Paul Newman is not doing a lot in Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah,
like so much of Cool Hand Luke is attitude.
Yeah, but Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman is a lot more. It's a little bit. It's a little deprecating.
Yes,
and I'm not sure. And maybe it's because we haven't seen it.
Right.
I'm not sure Fred Williamson has that speed.
Well, I think he's funny. Oh, dude, he is actually cracking. He cracks us up in 3 the Hard Way.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I guess.
What is it? 1,000 yards? What's the football in jail movie?
The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard.
Now, I could have seen him in The Longest Yard.
Been in The Longest Yard.
Now there you go.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the Burt Reynolds.
I was about to say, what is Burt Reynolds doing pre Smokey and the Bandit?
In The Longest Yard.
Mm-hmm.
He could definitely have been in The Longest Yard. And that would have fit him perfect.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. Even if Burt Reynolds is still in The Longest Yard, I think Fred Williamson would still have been good in that film.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I think he would have been a standout. That's the type of role that I could see somebody coming to him and him saying, "Oh, I'm not doing Burt's, then I'm going to go over here and make this Adios Amigos instead." Right. And that might have been like the wrong move for him. Because I think he could have set himself up for some more interesting type of roles down the lane. All right. Good question. Thank you, Farrell. Appreciate that. All right. Before we tell you what we're going to be watching from 1972 next week here on the Micheaux Mission, I invite you to, once again, if you have an email, thoughts that you want to share with us, please send them to micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. You can follow the Micheaux Mission on the social media of your choice, whether it be Instagram, X, or Facebook @Micheaux Mission, where you're invited to join our Facebook group and get in on the chat that all of the missionaries are having with Vincent, because I very rarely get in there because I am always busy doing other Micheaux stuff. Just being point blank honest about that. But the Micheaux Mission streams every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. here on YouTube from Young Chunk. Hit that subscribe bell so that you can be notified of when we put up our new videos. We put up a whole bunch of videos in the last couple of days, and be notified when we go live on Tuesday right here from the greatest video podcast palace in Philadelphia. If you want to book yourself some time here at one of the fabulous studios with one of the millions and millions of Dylans that have been cloned in this joint. Like, you didn't know there was a sequel. They cloned Dylan. That's right. It's coming to Netflix. Email Dylan at youngjunk.com. That's DY for Young Junk, LAN at youngjunk.com, so you can book yourself some time. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcast works such as ours, which will be back next week, August 20th, as we continue Action August in 1972, as we look at Robert Hooks in a film that may have one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. The film, however, you be the judge along with us as we sit back to review Trouble Man.
Have you ever seen Trouble Man?
I've never seen it.
You know what? I don't know if I've ever seen it either.
Remember, I did not know that the album, the Marvin Gaye album, Trouble Man, was a movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I did know that. I don't think I've ever seen Trouble Man, though.
Well, we're going to be watching it and reviewing and talking about it next week here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.